Hi parents, today we're talking about why autism tantrums get worse before they get better. No, it's not in your head. There's actual empirical data backed up by science. Behaviors increase before they decrease. Today we'll talk about why, and we'll talk about why this should be encouraging for you as a parent. I know it doesn't sound encouraging on the outside. It's like, what? They get worse, but the whole clinical rationale, the whole reason why I'm trying to share this with you parents is so you feel mentally equipped, prepared when you try a new strategy. And so not to be discouraged or expecting an outcome that's unrealistic. So again, we're really all about education here on my page, really spreading awareness to parents on how to better not only connect with their child on the spectrum, how to address challenging behaviors like tantrums, aggression, meltdowns, and how to better teach your baby on the spectrum powerful new skills like communication, toilet training, or even sleep hygiene. So I'm so glad you're here today. Hi, my name is Celeste. I'm a BCBA. I've been in the field of ABA therapy, working with autistic learners and their families for over 13 years. And it's really, this field is near and dear to my heart, as is the autism community. So I'm so excited that you decided to join me today and we can learn something new. So thank you for joining. Okay, let's jump in. I have my notes here. So if you see me looking down, that's why. This is an example of what a behavior graph might look like once you start an intervention. So what does that mean? So this is baseline, right? So you haven't introduced any new strategies with your kid. You're kind of managing the tantrum or aggression as is, and you haven't made a change yet. That's called baseline. It's just kind of the norm. Okay, let's call it the norm. And then, boom, something happens. Like maybe your ABA therapist comes to you or your BCBA comes to you and they say, hey, I want you to start practicing this strategy at home. Maybe they ask you to start following through. Like when you say no, I want you to hold that boundary and no longer reinforce it, no longer give him the thing that you said he couldn't have. And now you're trying something new. Now there's some change happening that you weren't doing before, okay? Let's set the scene, okay? Your kid on the autism spectrum has really intense tantrums. There's crying, falling to the floor, their veins are bulging out by the end, they're sweating. It's pretty intense. And this is something that has been happening for a few weeks or months on and off. And it comes to a point where you're like, no, I'm putting my foot in the ground. I'm no longer giving you the treat or the chips or the iPad or the TV or whatever it is. Those are just examples, right? I'm now doing something drastically different. There's a big change happening here. This is called intervention. As you can tell on our graph, this is the condition line. This is a line that shows us some change is happening. It's not the norm, the baseline anymore. Starting from this day, now parent is doing something new. Okay? Data tells us, science tells us that when you start implementing a new intervention like that, it's natural human behavior for the behavior to increase before it eventually teeters out. This increase is a peak outlined in the graph. It's called an extinction burst. This is jargon in the ABA world. It basically means an increase of behavior following, again, an intervention. The extinction burst is present because your child, for however many weeks, months, or sometimes years of the baseline of the norm was present, he or she got their needs met from engaging in that tantrum. It worked. It was functional. So let's give an example. Your kid has a tantrum when you say no to more iPad time. Just making up this example, okay? And then in the condition line, in the change, you stop cold turkey because you're like, I'm not going to reinforce it anymore. I'm going to be strategic. I'm going to be consistent. Starting now, no more. You start doing the thing. In the past weeks, months, or years of the norm of baseline, your kid's tantrum was functional. They would engage in the behavior and then they got their needs met. They got the tablet or they got the iPad. And all of a sudden, in one day, you're changing the outcome. That's going to be a drastic change for your kid. They're going to try to push harder. They're going to increase the behavior in an effort to get that same payoff that they're so used to getting. It's very natural. It's not a conscious kind of narrative that kind of plays out for our kids, but if we could put language to it, it might sound something like this. This has worked so many times. Let's pretend your kid is 6 years old, right? This has worked. This crying, tantrum, aggression has worked for 6 years of my life. 6 whole years it's been working. All of a sudden, one day it stops working. What's going on? Maybe I need to cry louder. I need to aggress more. I need to have a tantrum with higher intensity. There's a lot of frustration there from our learners. And that's why we see this big extinction burst, because our kids are trying to get that need met. It worked before. It's not working anymore. This is really weird. This is really frustrating. I'm going to try harder. Okay? If parents can withstand the extinction burst at home or wherever they're at, you can see in the graph that the behavior eventually teeters out and it decreases. If you notice at the end of the graph, if it's even lower than it was before you started the intervention. That's what we want. But it comes with the cost of enduring that extinction burst that we talked about. So no, parents, it's not in your head. You're saying no to something and it's not giving. There's no immediate result. It is a delayed result. I'm just being transparent and giving you the tools to be able to navigate. So this is good information, parents, because it tells you, wow, now that I know the extinction burst is present, do I have the mental bandwidth, energy to be able to go through this extinction burst right now? Yes or no? And if the answer is no, that's okay. I'd rather have you be self-aware and implement your intervention strategically, right? So right now there's a lot going on. I'm going through all these personal life things and we're moving and I'm trying to figure out all the moving parts. I'm transferring jobs. Maybe it's not the right time to address challenging behavior. Go ahead. It's okay. It will still be there. Just find a time and a place where you're like, okay, I'm going to hit it and I'm going to hit it hard. I'm really going to focus. I'm going to go all in and I'm going to address this challenging behavior by implementing the strategies, by saying no and holding my ground. And I'm going to see the extinction burst, but I do this with the hope and the promise of the reward at the end, which is decrease in challenging behavior. Okay, let me give one last piece for you to walk away with, okay? Today we talked about the extinction burst, which is a consequence, but you kind of standing your ground or saying no and then like remaining firm in it should always be paired with positive proactive strategies to kind of bulk up the skill set. We never just want to, right, refrain from giving our kids what they need because there's a challenging behavior present. It should always be met with prevention strategies in place. Because at the root of it, your kid is having challenging behaviors because there's a communication deficit. He or she is trying to get a need met and they don't have the words or the means to be able to do so. So by you just saying, I'm not going to give in anymore, it's really not teaching any skill. You see? By you not giving the chips, following a tantrum, it's not teaching him how to communicate. It's not teaching coping skills. It's not teaching waiting. So I say this because this is just a piece of the puzzle. It's not the intervention at its whole. So please discuss with your BCBA or your medical provider on strategies on how to best reduce your child's challenging behavior in an ethical, compassionate, and effective way. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you so much, parents. If you have any questions, please leave in the comments below. If you like this video, feel free to check out this one here. I go more in depth on how to better understand your child's challenging behavior and how to create a plan to address it. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Celeste from your favorite BCBA. Keep showing up, keep putting in the work. Parents, you got this.